Welcome to Deep Dive with me, Nikunj Dalmia, and it's turning out to be an ugly session of trade for Indian markets. 22,800 on the Nifty is gone. We still have about 1.5 hour of trade left. Let's hope that it gets conquered. But that's not the focus of the show today. The focus of the show today is that since everybody in the market is talking about Tesla, the impact of Tesla on the Indian car market. How will that change dynamics for EVs? How will this change dynamics at least for the luxury end of the car market? All that and much more, we would be taking a deep dive on this edition of Deep Dive with me. Now first, let me establish the size of the Indian car market. We'll talk about Tesla a little later. But first, let's look at how large the luxury car market in India is. The luxury car market before COVID in India was just 20,000 cars a year. Now that has ballooned to about 50,000 cars. That's an estimate for 2024. The final numbers have not come out, but 20 has become 50. So the luxury car market in India is not a very large car market. Within that, if one really looks at Tesla and the different pricing of Tesla, currently Tesla has a 110% tariff. So Tesla's Model T3 and after the current tariff, the landing price would be 45 lakhs. Model 2 would have a landing price of 50 lakhs and Model Y will have a landing price of 70 lakhs, which naturally makes it extremely not competitive. But if you assume that there could be a duty rationalization, tariff wars will ensure that Tesla will get a red carpet welcome, tariffs would be reduced, then the prices of Tesla, which are right now at 50 lakhs for Model 2, Model 3 and Model Y, the popular models could be ex-showroom, 28 lakhs, 25 lakhs and 38 lakhs. That means that there would be a large part of the SUV market which is below 25 lakhs, which is the major market. Tesla is not going to have an impact whatsoever. Now if one really looks at the history of Indian car market, and this is very fascinating. We tend to think that a foreign player is going to come and have a disruptive impact. I just want to remind our viewers that there were nearly a dozen car companies which were operating in India about 15 years ago. All of them wanted a big foot in the door and they wanted a dominant market share of the Indian car market, especially the passenger car market, especially the entry-level cars. This is how things are stacked up right now. Maruti has 42% market share, Hyundai has 14, Tata Motors 14, Mahindra & Mahindra has about 11, others have 19. But the picture, let's say a couple of years ago, was strikingly different. Everybody wanted to have a major pie in the Indian car market. GM, Volkswagen, Piaggio, Daewoo. Some have gone bankrupt, some have gone away. But the Indian car market, with the exception of, let's say, Maruti and to some extent Toyota, is still dominated by brands like Mahindra & Mahindra and to some extent Tata Motors. So global players in India have not had a very good ride. In the exception there is Toyota and to some extent I would say Suzuki, which again has a great and a very long history with the India car market. The Europeans are there, but they're not very successful. The Americans, at least Ford, and for GM and Chevrolet, the experience has not been great. So is Tesla's entry a real fear? And let's look at Anand Mahindra's reaction. And he says that, look, we were questioned in 1991 when the economy was opening up, and we've survived. Working like maniacs to still be around and relevant even a century from now. That is the spirit of India. CS Vigneshwar, President of FADA, joins us. Mr. Vigneshwar, nice to have you back on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. Everybody is saying Tesla. And before you react, I will say Tesla again, because everyone is saying Tesla. So what is this fear of Tesla's entry?
I mean, we got to see how things work out, because it's well above my pay grade, because right now a lot of tariff talks are going on, and hopefully more the merrier. See, the more technology which comes in, the domestic market also benefits from it. We have seen that clearly happen in China, where they're far ahead of the world in terms of the EV ecosystem right now. And a lot of it is to do with competition from international brands like Tesla and also homegrown vehicles from their own stables. So it's great to have Tesla over, but again, Tesla is, I'm from the Federation of Automobile Dealers Association, while Tesla follows a direct-to-consumer model. So we need to watch and see how the customers take that.
If Tesla entry barriers are reduced, which is that the models which are the Model Z and Y, if they are more popular, if they come to India, which end of the market they are likely to be attacking? And could that have a disruptive impact per se?
I really don't know what kind of plans they have for India, because it's quite nascent in terms of them wanting to come here. This also happened a couple of times before, but then they backed out for different reasons. See, uh, taking away tariffs is important because it's important to have a free economy where trade is happening throughout the world, but it is also important to safeguard the interests of manufacturers, both domestic and foreign, who have already invested in the Indian story and who have been doing well. Um, at the same time, it's also important that there are new challenges which come, as Mr. Mahindra just commented. There have been enough headwinds, there have been enough challenges which have come to this industry, and the automobile industry and the automobile manufacturers, domestic and foreign, have actually withstood it and thrived in the disruptive environment. So Tesla coming in perhaps needs to be also looked into in the same way. I think the more the merrier, the better the technology, the customers are going to benefit, and the ecosystem itself would develop.
In India, if one looks at the exception of Japanese, the other car majors have not been very successful. The Europeans are there, but they are there without a formidable market share. And if one looks at the American companies have not been very successful. Why is that?
A lot of companies don't think Asia much, don't think Asia in terms of products, in terms of mindsets, in terms of pricing, in terms of features. Toyota, Suzuki, and Hyundai are three major manufacturers who are in India, who probably command more than about 60% of the Indian market. One of the reasons is that the European manufacturers, or even the Americans to a large extent, have not thought Indian. So the moment you start thinking Indian, India would respond. There is enough markets here. I mean, the market size is big enough for everyone here. But these three companies perhaps have thought Indian. So are the manufacturers, the domestic manufacturers of Mahindra and Tata, who also been able to cater to the very unique demands of the Indian customer.
Uh, what is unique about Tesla, which Indian companies currently don't have?
Tesla again have one of the best electric vehicle technology in the world. So it's also quite aspirational as a brand, because Elon Musk has made sure that it's become an aspirational brand. But you got to also see from the viewpoint that even Tesla is facing huge headwinds. In Europe, in America, their sales are not growing as fast as they want. There's been some stagnation over the last quarter. So they've also been having quite a few headwinds. It is not that they've been a brand which has not had a hiccup at all throughout their last 4 or 5 years, or perhaps more, of their existence. So they are going to come up with certain challenges. We also see that they need to expand to newer markets, because their current markets are being saturated. So it's an opportunity, big opportunity for them to expand in India.
The EV sales have been okay. Competition has intensified. The incumbents are launching more models. Tesla is one of the foreign entrants. There are Chinese entrants also which are knocking on the door, so to speak. What is your view on the way of the EV space is moving?
The EV space is something which has not grown as fast as it should have. In 2023, probably it was about 2.5%, and last year it was about 3% of the complete vehicle volume market share being sold here. There's a lot of potential for it to grow, but for it to grow, we need better pricing, better vehicles. I think this auto show, quite a few vehicles have been launched, so there's a lot of excitement in the market. The ambitious growth of the manufacturers also fall in line with ambitious growth of the government. They've already set a kind of a roadmap for us to achieve. It's going to be an exciting story. It's going to be a very interesting story. But we also need to believe that it has to be alternate fuel, and electric vehicles are part of it. You got hydrogen, you got CNG, you also have hybrid vehicles. So all these vehicles will play onto the ecosystem to reduce the dependency of oil oil dependency for the nation because we keep buying oil at enormous costs.
Well, so really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. We'll stay with the story, and when we come back, it's really deep down analysis for stock market investors. Where is the EV opportunity? And then Hormoz as to what he feels as editor of Autocar, where essentially things could move for the Indian car segment, considering that Tesla as the entry now seems like is around the corner.